Old man, I guess. Hey, folks. Anybody home? Hello, anybody home out there? Am I live? Am I live? I see things on the screen. Let me move this in a little bit. Hello, hello, hello. Am I talking to myself? David, man, already people are in there? Well, Tiki Sandwich, Florida. Carol Coda, Arizona. Looks like there are people out there in the real world. I look at where I am. This is one of my favorite all-time camps anywhere I've ever been. Couldn't you force yourself to be here in the summer? Do you think? We just have this amazing spot picked out here, and so I'm really delighted. I'm live. Google account says I'm live. Buddy and Doug's Big Adventure. Hi everyone. Daniel Rugman, Ramblin' Man, Bucksport, Maine. Miss Daryl is in. I think that was Daryl, Michigan. Hi folks. It's nice to visit with you again. We moved, and so a lot of you were smart enough to find us. We've been doing Sundays, and we changed because my schedule has changed for the summer. And so we're going to be live every Wednesday. Big changes here, folks. And what we're going to start doing is a topical live. Skip Shako, Oregon coast here, not very far away. I'm near Klamath Falls. Let's see. Christine, hello, Bob. Michael David, hey, from Maine. Mary Bingham, hi, Bob, from Indian Trail NC. I think I've been there. I actually lived outside in Asheville and around Asheville for about a year and a half, so I'm a little bit familiar with North Carolina. North Carolina's a beautiful state. If I was going to live anywhere in the East, it would be North Carolina. The one thing that stood out to me, I can just talk about anything, can't I? You know what stood out to me most about North Carolina was how nice the people were. Of everywhere I've ever been, I think the people in North Carolina were some of the nicest, friendliest, polite people, and I enjoyed North Carolina. Okay, I'll stop. What are we doing here? Well, we're going to have announcements, of course, and today's topic, because from now on, every Wednesday, we're going to have a topic. We will have them listed out for you, and so you'll know what they are. KC, you have it written down on the schedule. Will you bring me out? KC should be listening, and bring me out a list of the upcoming topics, because I should have thought ahead and didn't do it, but I forgot to do it. So today's topic is, and get your questions ready on this, is I'm labeling it baby steps. So you've decided you're going to become nomadic, and it's a year or two away, and here she comes a running.
No, I'll get the topics for you, but don't read.
Do not. Okay, yes, thank you.
Okay.
I'm being hushed. Oh, okay, I don't need that. Casey just, I'm such a kid in so many ways. She just kind of mothers me, and takes good care of me. And now I've completely lost my train of thought. So today's topic is baby steps. You've decided you're going to go nomadic, but you've got something that won't let you go now. You've got to wait till your kids grow old. That's what happened to me. My kids were young. I had to wait until they were old enough to leave the house and go live in a van. Or you have parents you're taking care of. That's a real common story. That's right where I am now. A lot of reasons you can't go now. You got to sell the house. You got a few years till retirement age, and you don't want to lose your pension. So there's reasons you can't go now, but you want to go now. These are steps you can take today to get ready for your future nomadic move, to make it better and easier. And not only that, but I've chosen all these steps, and I have plans, but they're going to be your questions that you have. That's what I need today, is your questions. But these steps and I'll give you my list of steps I think you should take, are all designed to make your life better, even if you don't end up going nomadic. So they're all designed so that if you don't end up living a nomadic life, you still haven't lost anything. Your life is better because of it. Okay, well, first we will do announcements. Of course, we go live and the breeze comes up. First we'll do announcements. Okay, number one. How has been hard at work, as you have known if you follow my web. Let's see, I might turn that. Is Cliff? Did I help or hurt? Is that where my face needs to be so that they can see the chat? Does that make sense?
You were better before.
I was better I was right in the middle, so it's middle the better.
I don't have your list of topics. You had written them on a piece of paper.
We put them in the calendar.
Okay. Whose calendar? Yours? Or
Yeah. Yours. No, yours.
Okay.
Okay, that's where it
I
is
don't
now?
have my
Okay.
calendar anymore.
Yeah, that's fine. If it's in the middle, it's okay. Yeah.
I can't get questions if I'm going to do this
Never mind. We'll do it later. When we'll do it later. Okay. So how a Homes on Wheels Alliance is hard at work. This last 2 weeks, we built a minivan. And so our first announcement of the day is that we are ready to start taking, I think I'm doing this out of the order, to have you filling out applications. We've built a minivan, did a fantastic job. We had about a dozen volunteers. We bought this minivan. It's a gorgeous, nice minivan. It's older, but boy, it's so nice and so new. Oh, great, thank you. And so we're going to give it away sometime in mid-July. And what we need you to do now is to go apply. If you have a serious need, we need you to go apply. The application is a little intrusive. We want to, we only have so much money and so many minivans to give away, and we want to make sure we give it away to people who really need it the most. If we have 100 people apply, we can't give 100 of them away, so we want to find the one who needs it most, and that means we need information to be able to decide. And so please go ahead and fill out that application. Here is see if I can hold this up in such a way that you can see it. To fill out an application, there it is. I think you can see that kind of now. homesonwheelsalliance.org, and then whatever that says, I can't read it. Can you read that? Okay. I'll now read homesonwheelsalliance.org, application-for-assistance. And so that's where you go to fill out an application. We're going to give it away, I'm hoping in mid-July. And then I'm hoping in August we start building another one. Mid-August we'll start building another one. So let me hold this up again. Hopefully you can see all that. Is that correct, Cliff? homesonwheelsalliance.org, application-for-assistance. Okay, hopefully you can see that. And hopefully it's not reversed. I think we fixed the reverse problem.
It was good.
Okay, great. If I knew what I were doing, we could be doing this and putting up things on the screen, but I don't know what I'm doing. Now, people ask me, why am I doing this? Why are we giving away minivans? Why did we start why did I start? Sue-Ann and I, my partner Sue-Ann, who is absolutely as essential in the process of building this minivan as I am, building the Homes on Wheels Alliance. Why did we start Homes on Wheels Alliance? I get letters all the time from people who are in desperate need, and I always wrote them back and said, I'm so sorry, I can't help you. I would always give them a little bit of money, but nothing to make life changing. And I hated writing these letters saying, I can't help you. And that's the most horrible feeling in the world to me, is having someone pour out their life and their story and asking me for help, and I write them back and say, I can't help you. So Homes on Wheels Alliance is my effort to be able to write people back and say, I can help you. This is what we can do. We've given out we gave out a Kodiak tent, we gave out a spring bar tent. We're going to start giving out solar power systems in the fall. Very soon we're going to give away the first minivan. Someone's going to make a home out of it. I'm going to read you a letter. This is the kind of letter I get all the time. I get a dozen of these a week. Heartbreaking. I've edited this so that you can't know who it is. I don't want to intrude on their privacy. This is a letter I got, real letter. Please help me. Right off the bat, I am being asked to leave my apartment. I've been looking for over 6 weeks for a place. I don't make enough money to qualify for any apartment in Florida, Alabama, or Tennessee. I need a place to park my car. I need to rent a storage unit and a safe place to park. I am 70 years old and a widow. 70-year-old widow or widower, kicked out of their apartment, doesn't qualify for help. If you know of any BLM land, please email me. I only have 13 days left. The money I save for moving and deposits will go to buying a big car. So the best they can do is, with the little bit of money they have, is to buy a car and move into it. I can't find any BLM land on the internet. If you know of any, there's no BLM land east of the Mississippi, so she can't find any. She'll need to find national forests and free campsites. And I wrote her a letter back, him or her, I'm not exactly sure, um, and told her how to find campsites. So that's all I could do right now. If you know of a website or a map of Central Tennessee, please email me. God bless you all. So I get these letters and I write back, and usually they're asking for help to get a car. She happened to have enough money and some kind of income, probably Social Security, to live on, but she can't. Now she's going to buy a car, but now is it going to break down? Is it going to be constant problems? She needs help. And so I answered her email, and I told her everything I could help her with. But that's why I'm doing everything we're doing. That's why this video was on, all of these things. From day one, people need help. I've been given the ability to offer them help in my knowledge and my skill and just in my compassion, hearing their story. I don't know why, but that's where I am and that's what I do. So that's why we're doing everything we're doing. Okay, I'll move on. What's the next announcement? Now, my goal is to have announcements for, my goal is to start building a second minivan in August. We will need help to build that one, just like we did this one. And some people got upset because we turned people away. Well, right now we're on national forest land. That's a little lake behind me in the national forest. And we can only have so many spaces, and this is a popular place because it's on a beautiful lake, so we can only have a certain number of people come out. There's just no camping here otherwise. I think we have like a dozen spots. We had a dozen people come out, and more people would just slow down the process and make it difficult. We couldn't have visitors. It wasn't snobbishness or we are so special and only my special friends. I think at least half of the people here I'd never met before. They are now my special friends, but they weren't before. So that's why not everyone can come. We're on public land, just like most people will be when they build their minivan. We're 28 miles away from a Home Depot. That was very important that we be near a Home Depot, so we could get supplies. So if you would like to help with the next minivan, it will be here somewhere in Oregon. I don't know where, somewhere in Oregon for sure, and it will be in August. And if you would, and I don't know how for you to write and ask for help. It used to be Homes on Wheels Alliance. I don't even know what it was. So hopefully someone will tell me. Oh, here it is. Homes on Wheel Alliance at gmail.com. So if you will write, if you're interested in helping on the next minivan build, write to Homes on Wheels Alliance at gmail.com. The website is homesonwheelsalliance.org. Now, another thing, we have a photography contest going. The photographs will go onto the website, and so if you would like to apply, send in an application or send in a photograph to see if we can put it on the website, please do. It goes to the same place. You can email it to homesonwheelsalliance at gmail.com. We have a release form on the website. You have to go and print out the release form, take a photo of it, and email that in with your photograph so that we have a release. We can't put anything on our website without a release because, that's privacy laws, and privacy laws are very important to everyone, but they're really important to us. The June 21st deadline for the photography contest. Okay, I'm done with that. Now, let me give you the upcoming topics, because we're going to start doing topics every week. And I got to get my calendar open. We are in June. So today's topic, June 19th, is getting ready, baby steps, downsizing, getting rid of stuff, documents, going camping, things like that. On Wednesday, June 26th, it will be solar. The last Sunday of every month, the topic will be solar. If you have a solar question, if you write in beforehand to homesonwheelsalliance.org at gmail, no, Homes on Wheels Alliance at gmail.com. And with your solar question or any question on any of these topics, I will answer them. The last Wednesday of every month will be solar, because that's the topic we get all the time. Questions we get all the time. July 3rd is which van or RV to buy. We'll just talk about all the possible choices you have and pluses and minuses and what would work for you. On July 10th, it's state of residence, getting your mail, getting your driver's license, getting internet. That will be the topic on July 10th. July 17th, on Wednesday, we'll be camping on Stealth. We're going to be talking about camping in the city and how you can camp in the city and how you can get away with stealth, and if it's a problem, she's fine. Also on the 31st, oh no, that's the last Wednesday, it will be solar again. Wednesday the 31st of July will be solar. Last Thursday, Wednesday of every month. And then August. On August 7th, oh, that can't be because I just asked that one. So August August 7th will be, I didn't do something right here. Did I do July and August already? Sorry, folks. Okay, no, that was July. And that was that. And okay, so we messed up. That's how far as I'm going to go because now I messed up. Okay, here's August. Wrong dates. Can't do it. Okay, so we're going to stop there. Now, if you've written in a question on baby steps, what you could do right now to get ready to move into your van, hopefully we'll be answering those soon. I have written out some things I would like to tell you about how to do baby steps getting ready to live in a van. Then when the questions come in, I'll answer them. Or if we don't get any questions on that topic, I'll answer questions on any topic because I'm a big mouth and I just talk and talk and talk. Okay, baby steps. The first thing I suggest you do if you're not going nomadic yet, but you think you're going to start going at some point in your future, is stop buying stuff. Don't buy anything. I mean, don't buy anything. Every penny you keep in your bank can be an emergency fund. It can buy you a better, newer vehicle to live in. A big emergency fund and the best, newest, most reliable vehicle you can live in are the most important things you can do to go nomadic. The more money you don't spend, the more you can save and put in your emergency fund and put into the new vehicle you're going to live in. So right now, if you're going to be going nomadic in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, stop buying anything. Every penny goes to emergency fund and a rig fund, best possible rig fund. And then start getting rid of everything. Start selling everything. If you have a year or two, it takes 2 years to pay off your mortgage. You're going to retire in 2 years, whatever. Start selling stop buying, start selling. Go through eBay, go through Facebook, go through Craigslist. Get every penny you can for everything you can. Every penny goes into your emergency fund and your rig fund, so that instead of having just $5,000 to spend on a rig, you can have $5,000 in emergency fund and $10,000 to spend on a rig. A $10,000 rig can be far better than a $5,000 rig, and so the more money you can save now, by far the better off you're going to be. So that's the first step. Stop buying, start selling. No stuff in your life at all. Next is the emergency fund. Build that up by selling stuff, but is it possible that you can get a second job now and put all that money into an emergency fund? If you can, do it. The more money you have in an emergency fund, $3,000 is the minimum I recommend, but if you can make it $5,000 or $10,000 or $20,000, better, much better. Minimum of $3,000 so that you could buy another minivan. For $3,000, you can buy a fairly decent minivan, and you lose your rig, the engine blows, you can get a new engine, you can do a lot of things. So build up your emergency fund. Also, if possible, if you don't have kids, if you're not taking care of your parents, a lot of circumstances would make this impossible. Move into your car while you're waiting and save all the money you're paying in mortgage now or into rent to the landlord. Become the lord of your own life and pay yourself. You'll be the landlord. Your emergency fund will be the savings. Why make your landlord rich? Why not make yourself rich? I like that idea. I think you should like that idea. If you can move into your car and start paying yourself that money, you're going to be a million times better off. And here's one trick to know how to park. If you go on Craigslist and tell someone and run an ad saying, I'll pay someone $100 a month just to let me park in your driveway overnight. I'm quiet, respectable. Here's my references. This is the job I'm working at. You can call my boss and ask him. I'm a good Joe. I'm just going to live in my minivan, my car or my minivan and save money. I bet you can find someone, pay them $100 a month instead of $800, $900 a month. He gets $100 a month, and all you do is park in it overnight. And you can learn how to become a nomad. You can save a whole bunch of money towards your emergency fund, towards the best possible rig. That is just really a good way to go. Another thing is to start looking for people who need help. They need live-in help. You're not a professional. You'll just help around the yard. And maybe they'll let you park in their driveway, or maybe they have 5 acres and they just need help maintaining the 5 acres. They'll let you park in the 5 acres and help them with it, mow the lawn for them. Maybe it's an older person who needs just someone to help them around the house a little bit. Be creative. Look for creative ways you can live for free out of your car or your van, or if you're on someone's 5 acres of property, buy a Kodiak tent for $600 and live in it. Now, of course, you're not going to do that in Anchorage, Alaska. You're not going to do that in New York, because you don't want to live in a tent in New York. But there are places where you can make it work, and see if you can make that work and start saving all that money and putting it in your pocket. Hope we have some questions, so I don't have to go through this whole teaching. Gather your documents. While you're in a home, gather all your documents. Everyone should have a passport. The world we live in has changed, and it's document crazy. You've got to have proof of who you are. Right now, get your passport, get your birth certificate, and get your Social Security card. You should have those in your possession when you leave your house and go nomadic. It's going to be much easier to do it now while you're in a home, a sticks and bricks home, than it will be then. Get your federal driver's license. It's state issued, but it allows you to get on airports, and it's he'll have at the top a little yellow star, or whatever it is in your state. Get that driver's license while it's easy, while you're in your home. Gather those documents now. Much easier than when you go nomadic. Okay, I got some questions. John, where do I find help creating a van build to get ready to live in? Can I hire your team from Howa? That is a question I get a lot, and I wish I had a good answer, and I don't. First is Jamie, my friend Jamie at Enigmatic Nomadic. His van build every November. He just posted something under Van Build Fest. I think he started a blog with that name, Van Build Fest. He's calling it now and start a party. And go to his YouTube channel. And so that's the only organized thing that's right now that I know you can go to and get help in your build, but it's only once a year. Let me tell you, it's one of my goals, my primary goals, is to buy a piece of land, 10, 20, 30 acres, and start doing builds for people on the land. That's not as simple as it sounds. You got to buy the 20, 30 acres. You got to work with zoning, the city, the county, to make that legal so they don't just come and shut you down. And then you have liability issues. People come out and start working on your land and they get hurt and they sue you, and then you're in deep trouble, deep doo-doo. There's all kinds of issues with that, but we're wanting to do that so that we can have a van build center. In fact, a gentleman in Texas wrote us, and it didn't work out that we were going to make it happen. He's doing something like that, and we actually are talking to someone in Texas, right in the center of the country, so that it would be the easiest for most people to get to, about doing a van build center. That's one of the goals I have for Homes on Wheels Alliance. It's years away because that is money. It's money and time. We have 5 acres near Douglas, Arizona, and we've actually started talking to the county about doing this. But he said, it's possible, but where it's going to take a zoning variance, and we will have to do a public announcement, and we'll have a hearing, and your neighbors can come in and complain and say, no, I don't want that there. And the world is full of NIMBYs who only care about themselves. Let me say that again. The world is full of NIMBYs, not in my backyard, who only care about themselves and will not lift a finger except to prevent you from helping someone else. That's what the world is full of. So we'll get a bunch of NIMBYs and they will fight us about even doing that on land we own. We own 5 acres and we got to convince the neighbors to allow us to help people on it. We won't hurt them, we won't devalue their property, but they don't want it in their backyard. They're more important than everyone else in the world. And there are NIMBYs out there watching me right now. And yes, I am talking to you. I better stop. I'll stop. No more NIMBY talk. So right now I don't have an answer. My answer, John's question is, I don't really know how to build the van. I need help. How do I do it? My answer is to do a pure no build. Buy a cot. A cot will work great. Buy Sterilite, makes a 3 or 4 tall drawer that's designed for garages. It's very strong. Buy that, secure it to the wall. Just a bunch of dressers and plastic and duffel bags. Duffel bags are really good. They get smaller as they empty, and you can stuff them in odd places. So I have different sized duffel bags. You can do a no build. And I'm going to definitely want to do a minivan with a no build, just so you can see how simple and workable it is. Go to the YouTube channel. And KC started out this way. She did a no build. It was all plastic drawers and furniture that she bought and made it fit. And I think it's super easy, super cheap van build. And I think that's the title. And just great ideas for how you can do a no build. And so that's really, I don't have anyone I can send you to. They're all expensive. You know, I know people that'll do it for $5,000, but chances are you don't have $5,000. So consider a no build. Lori, what are the most important things to buy for my van before I leave? You got to have a comfortable bed, so a cot will do it. I mean, a good quality cot, and buy a Thermarest brand or REI brand. Or that's REI stands for Recreational Equipment Incorporated. They make really good ones. Big Agnes is a brand name that makes really high quality backpacking, self-inflating pads. You buy a reasonably good cot for $75. You can get them in different sizes and lengths, and buy a self-inflating backpacking pad, and you can sleep really comfortably. And then put plastic dressers, plastic drawers, or totes that will fit under it. Buy it, measure it, see how much will fit. That's a lot of storage and organization and good sleep right there. And then that's the first thing. And then buy, you'll want to, I recommend gas 1 butane propane stove. Go to the minivan build, and all this stuff is on there, and that will burn the butane bottles and the green propane bottles. Very handy, small and light and easy to carry. Those are the things you should have. Get a tote full of pots and pans. Boy, I better speed it up, hadn't I? A tote full of pots and pans so that you can cook. You'll need a 5-gallon bucket to poop and pee in. You'll need a pee container, or if you just really need to, you'll need you could get a Thetford porta potty, and that's a pretty normal pooping experience. It goes down into the lower container, and you have a liquid down there, and it has a hose and a valve, and you take it to any bathroom, hook the hose up to it, and it goes down the toilet. That if you just need a more normal experience, they're $75 to $100, $125 depending on the quality. Thetford is a good brand name. What else? You have to have Reflectix to put in your windows for privacy, to keep it cool, to keep it warm. Those are the essentials. Duffel bags, I'm a big fan of duffel bags. They organize. Plastic Sterilite or Rubbermaid totes, ones that you can stack. Plastic drawers that you can open. All these things will get you good head start until you can build your own minivan. We just did a minivan build. We'll have plans out for it. They're for free. Anyone can follow, and boy, it turned out super well. So hopefully that will be a plan that you can follow. Buy the minimum, because people overbuy stuff and then end up getting rid of it because it doesn't work. So only buy it if you know you need it. Cooking, sleeping, pooping, uh, staying clean, cover the most basic essentials. Okay, I'll stop and move on. William, how much solar should I prepare to have before leaving to run a fridge and lights? 200 watts. 200 watts will almost always do the trick. So I strongly recommend 200 watts. 100 watts will do it. It won't run a fridge. It will, here's the thing. People don't take into account the difference between summer and winter. In the summer, 100 watts with the sun very far overhead, long sunshiny days, 100 watts will probably sneak by in the summer. Come winter, it will not. The days are short, the sun's low on the horizon. You'll get cloudy days, it won't do it. So you could start out with 100 watts on the roof for the summer, but come winter, to run a fridge, lights, keep your devices charged, fans, you got to run fans in the summer. 200 watts is really going to be enough. It'll do the trick. So a 200 watt Renogy kit, 300 bucks maybe. Some extra parts you'll have to buy. You'll have to buy a battery for 100 bucks. 150, 200 depends if you're on an AGM, more like 200. So for 500 bucks, closer to 6, you can be into a 200 watt kit, everything all done. Okay, Brooke, can I borrow money from Howard to buy a van? I'm sorry, Brooke, we're not set up to do that. It just takes money, and we don't have money much coming in. And as money builds up, that's what we want to do. And that's everything, every breath I take is devoted to that purpose. I know how stupid that sounds. I'm going to say it again because it's really true. Virtually every breath I take is devoted to that purpose. I'm doing it as fast as we can. We all can. I say I. Sue Ann, my partner, I don't know how much she sleeps. It's not much. Every moment of every day is devoted to making Howa fly. Phyllis and KC, every moment of every day, we fight them to take some time off and barely can get them to do it. We are 4 workhorses that are doing nothing but devoting our lives to making this happen. And we need people to join us, and together we can make it happen. 5, how much to put aside for gas per month on average for a Chevy cargo van? It depends on are you driving for fun or are you driving for an absolute necessity? So you have to move every 2 weeks. If you're boondocking on public land and you come out and you set for 2 weeks and then you drive 50 miles, you stop in town, you do your shopping, you get your trash, you dump your poop, you drive 50 more miles and you park for 2 more weeks, you might could get by on $100 a month. If you want to drive for the joy of driving and seeing things, $300 a month. So it's really up to you. If you're on a super tight budget, $100 a month minimum, and you're going to need some trips. You're going to run out of something. You have to run into town or real quick into town. We're 28 miles from the nearest town here, so that's a long trip. If you're getting, let's say you're getting 15 miles to the gallon, 30 miles to town, 2 gallons both ways, 4 gallons, $12 just a trip into town. So, it adds up. So I'd say 100 is the absolute minimum amount of driving, 300 to be somewhat comfortable. But that logic that I just used, use that. Apply that to your own self. Vesta, how do you make your kids or family feel better about your decision? I'm assuming you're an older person and your kids are independent. Assuming that that is surprisingly one of the hardest things to do. I've known a number, particularly women, it upsets children when their moms decide to go do this and they fight it. I've seen real rifts in families. The kids are mad at mom or dad because they're not with the grandkids all the time. They've lost a babysitter, so they're mad about that. They're worried. They're fearful that you're going to come out here because there's roving bands of rapists and murderers on every square inch of every public land in America. Absolutely false, but they believe it. So they're terribly afraid for you. They're afraid for themselves. They're losing their mother. They're losing their babysitter. They don't want their kids to grow up with their mom and their dad. They put a real guilt trip, and I have seen some real guilt trips put on people. I've seen some real anger. You live on wheels, and if you have the budget, reassure them by going and seeing them as often as you can. That's about all I can say. And if you don't have the budget to do that, spend 6 months in their state with them, sing them as much as you can. At least they can come to you and you can go to them once a month, once a week. Uh, do all you can to reassure them. Uh, my videos, I've got every Friday a video comes out of people who are doing this and loving this and they've been safe. Um, Reassure them. Spend as much time as you can practically spend with the kids, the grandkids, and reassure them of your plans and your safety, and you've thought it all through, and you're being safe, you're being reasonable, and then you just have to walk away. It's your time, and your kids will tell you you're being selfish. Our society will tell you you're being selfish. Christians, I've had Christians write in and condemn me because I said to a woman, now is your time. You've given your life serving others. Now is your time. And I've had Christians curse me because I said that to you. That's all I'm going to say. You're wrong. Your mother is important. Her life is important, and she should live it. She gave you all she owes you. She'll keep giving you more because that's what moms do. But it's her time. Stop. Leave them alone. Show them this video. Grow up. All I can do. Yeah, it is a really big and hard question. I know it is. I've seen a lot of hardships from it. Keith, dates for RTR 2020? Completely unknown. How about that? June, we're completely unknown. We're still fighting with the BLM. We don't even know the state. Not only don't we know the dates, we don't know the state. We've had some good news recently, and it looks like we're getting it finally nailed down. Believe me, I want you to know as soon as you can. I know a lot of you are planning vacation time, long trips. I want to tell you as soon as I possibly can. At this point, I just can't. I just can't. I'm sorry. We work on this all day, all week, months at a time. Finally, we get breakthrough to the BLM, and the last minute they make a decision. It's done. I'm hoping it's better than that this year, but that's where it's at right now. In fact, we're keeping our fingers in Quartzsite and in 2 districts in Arizona, just so that one of them pans out. That's what it's like working with the BLM. So that's where it is, and we just don't know. I can tell you we're devoting immense amount of time and energy into working it out. Kara asks, what is the best time of year to plan going out on the road? I would say spring. Go out into the national forest. If you're going out of the national forest, go in the spring, because the weather is really good. Look where I am now. If you're on the East Coast, the heat is a problem for you, and it's hard to get out of the heat. But it's then in the winter it's cold, so there is no good time on the East Coast. It's just bad all year round. On the West Coast, the spring, because you get up high enough in Colorado or Wyoming or Montana, and you can get cool. And look how beautiful where it is where I am, and it's nice most of the summer. So Oregon is great in the summer. Washington is great in the summer. Get up at 8,000 or 10,000 feet in Colorado, and it's beautiful and warm all summer. So out west in the summer, always say in the summer, even in the East Coast, at least you won't be freezing to death. You won't get snowed in. It'll be hot and muggy and bugs, but go to Maine. If you can, go up to Maine and a lot of upstate New York. The Adirondacks are really pretty, but all of it tends to be hot and muggy. So I'd say summer is the best time to plan. Terry, what's the best place to buy a used step van? Actually, there are a number of outfits across the country that specialize in selling commercial vehicles, box vans, step vans, box trucks. U-Haul, they don't have step vans at all, but they do have box trucks and box vans. You should consider those. A U-Haul, they have gas and diesel both. Step vans, yeah, go do a Google search on used commercial vehicles, and then you can narrow it down by the state or by the region. And there are a lot of them around the country that specialize in commercial box trucks, box vans, step vans. And that's going to be your best bet. There are websites that are dedicated to searching Craigslist nationwide. And you may have to extend the search way out of your comfort zone. You may have to, if you find the perfect one, you may have to fly in and take a chance. Uh, Try, if you have to do fly-ins, to get them to take it to a mechanic that you choose and get a mechanic's report before you go to that expense. And a lot of them, a reliable one will allow you to arrange it to be dropped off and checked out by a good mechanic of your choosing. And if they won't, then that raises a red flag. That's the best I can tell you about that.
Are you done with
That
any
was
now?
yours. Yeah, my goodness, I got to speed her up. My goodness. Um, okay. Denny, what's the best place to shower? Which gym memberships? Planet Fitness. There's another one. What's the other one? World Gym? No, not World Gym. There's several that are nationwide. Planet Fitness is the one I'm most familiar with. That doesn't mean it's the best. It just means the one that pops in my head. There are several others that are 24-hour fitness. I think 24-hour fitness is a big nationwide one. Any of them that are nationwide, find their locations, find them if they're in the area you will be in. That's the key thing, is just will they be in the area you travel in? And I'm sure they're all trying to open more often as they can. But Planet Fitness is the one that comes to mind and that I know that most people use the most, but that doesn't say it's the only good one. Truck stops, although they're expensive, if you're a couple, two people can shower for the price of one. That makes it much more reasonable. Yeah, that's about it. That's all I can tell you. Skeeter, where do I get a passport? Actually, at your local library, post office. All the information you need about uh, getting your passport is at your local library. Like, what do I keep saying that? Post office. If you live in a town with multiple branches, not all of them, only one of them probably, or a few will do passports. You'll have to do a Google search, passport, post office, name of your town, and then call them or go down and talk to them. And a lot of them will even take your passport photo. It's a very specific photo, but any drugstore, I think Walmart is taking passport photos now. It's a few dollars. Or Walgreens or Rite Aid or CVS, all of them will take a passport photo for a few dollars. You'll need a passport photo. You'll need all those documents. You'll need your social security card. You'll need your birth certificate. And if you're an alien, you'll need all your alien documentation. And I don't know enough about that to even comment. But those three things, passport, birth certificate, not to get your passport, you'll need your birth certificate, social security card, and birth certificate. Those two things. Take them in. You actually have to mail them in. There are, if you're in a hurry, there are expediters who will do it for you. I did that once. It was fairly expensive, but they made it pretty painless. It's really easy. Just Google search, how do I get a passport? Everything you need to know will be right there. Folks, I'm not Google. You can search, you can do a Google search, how do I get a passport? And everything I've just said will be there in black and white with links. And so that really is the better way to do it. Earth asks, is it true if you have a passport you don't need the federal driver's license? Yes, it is. A passport will get you into any federal facility. But you always have to have it to get in there. But yes, I believe that is true. Walter, is a 7x12 cargo trailer too wide or large versus a 6x12 for backcountry boondocking? Every step up brings a slight decrease in your backcountry ability. Is it enough to be a big deal? Probably not. I have been down roads. What happens, especially in the national forests, the roads get ingrown. They grow in and in and in and in. And I have driven down roads where they are so in. You'll get national forest pinstripes. You'll get scratches in your paint. All the branches will be scraping the paint. And so your truck is 6 foot. So a 6 foot trailer is going to get the same amount of damage as your van or your truck. If you have a car, it'll be smaller, but most of you won't be in cars. So a 7 footer will be an extra foot wide. It will attack the fenders that much more. It will scratch that much more. And eventually you'll come to a limb that you may have to cut off. An 8 foot will be even worse. So every step up in size and length, width, height, that's a really biggie, brings you to one road that you can't go down. Does that matter to you? Probably not. Probably not. So the answer is yes, but how big of a deal is it? And probably not all that much. A 7 by 10 is so much more comfort. I think a 6 by 12 is the best balanced all around vehicle. It's what I recommend. But a 7 by 12 will give you a lot more flexibility and very minor loss of off road ability, probably more than worth it. Only you can decide. Um, Lee, are they making it too difficult with laws to live stealth? Depends on your city. I just saw people send me links all the time. I think California may have just passed a state law that no city in the state can outlaw living in your van or your car or your RV. So it depends entirely on your location. It depends first on your county and your city. Most of these things are city. The city is allowed a lot of regulation, a lot of freedom of regulation over its own city. But more and more states are, liberal states in particular, California being one of the most liberal, are passing state laws that saying you cannot tell someone it's illegal to live in their car. So you're just going to have to do your research on your city. And there are a couple of ways to do some research. First is to go to your local police station. I know they're all awful. Someone will pull out a gun and shoot you right there in the police station. Probably not. I would go to the local police. What time is it? I'd go to the local police station. Don't park in front. Don't let them see your van. Use common sense. Park down the road. Walk down the street 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks. Walk in. Say, officer, I'm forced by circumstances to live in my car. I don't want to break any laws. I want you to know I'm not a bad guy. Is there anything I can do to make that happen? I'd register with you. I'll give you my driver's license. I'll let you look me up. Do you have any suggestions? And you're going to tell a lot by his reaction what the city and the county and the state opinion is. He might just say flat out, no, you park anywhere, we'll roust you and send you away. I don't know. Maybe he'll say, we have an area we set aside. Maybe the police department in your area does that just for those people. Why not? You have nothing to lose. Now, again, use common sense. Don't drive up in your van and say, here, I'm going to be living in that van. Don't do that. Park down the road, have someone drop you off, take the Uber. They have no way to track you down. Walk in and ask them. I think a lot of times we'd be very surprised. You know what? They might say, you can park over there behind the police station and we'll keep our eye out on you. We'll take care of you. You never know. You have almost nothing to lose to find out. And then the next thing is go to your local Walmart, because if it's enforced anywhere, it's enforced at Walmart. Just because it's enforced at Walmart doesn't mean it will be enforced at Lowe's across the street, or at the Sam's down the block, or at Home Depot, or at the local neighborhood 24-hour grocery store, Fred Meyer. So go at a Kroger, at a Winn-Dixie. So go and ask around and find out. And that's the way you'll find out the general attitude towards stealth. If it's really bad, you got to be really stealthy. If it's not that bad, you can have some leeway. So that's my recommendation. State laws are changing all the time. Some places for the better, and for the most place for the worse. I believe that there's going to be so much homelessness they will have to finally cope with it. Let me tell you something that just happened. I had a city in California. I had the city manager write me an email, and he said, Bob, I know this is your area. What can we do about RVers in our city dumping their tanks? I had a city manager write me that. He wanted to do something. He didn't want to just chase them around. He didn't want to just chase them away. He had to solve the problem, because if he didn't solve the problem, the citizens would rise up and force him to do something drastic. So I wrote him back with some suggestions, and I hope he takes them. But there are a lot of cities where things are getting better. Don't write that off. There are places where it's getting better. There are probably as many places where it's getting better as where they're getting worse. Don't fall into cynicism. Don't fall into this, the world's coming to an end. There are a lot of wonderful people in this country. There are many more wonderful people in this country than there are bad people in this country. Hold on to that. Okay, Sue-Ann, thanks to almost 1,000 people surveyed, more than 80% would rather attend the RTR and WRTR if in California. No other details yet on RTR. Yeah, we did a survey. I guess I'm going to give you a report on the survey. Thank you, Sue Ann. So far, 80% would rather attend it there than nowhere. And we had about an even number who said, I'm more likely to attend it if it's in California because it's closer to town. Maybe they're in Southern California and they can get to it easier. I had about an equal number saying we'll more likely to come than we will not come under any circumstances. There's some people that hate the politics of California so much that they can't even stand being there. And I will not express any opinions on that. Imaginator, how do I donate a van or RV to Howa? Contact us through Homes on Wheels Alliance at gmail.com and we'll get back with you. We've had a number of people doing it and we're so terribly grateful. We've actually had a really nice bus donated and we're in the process of donating several minivans. So thank you all. If you want to do that, please do. Homes on Wheels Alliance at gmail.com. Blue Wave, what do you do for an address for an RV to register it? That's a very complicated question. It takes a long answer. I don't really have time to answer the question. Every state is different. So go to your state that you want to become a resident of and do a Google search. Google's your friend. Google is tell you everything I can tell you and more. Do a Google search on driver's license requirements, your state. Nevada, Texas, whatever your state is. I'll trade you. And so do that, and that will list out all the requirements of your state to get a driver's license and how you can fulfill them. It'll just be a long list. You need one or two or three of this long list. You choose which one.
8 minutes.
Mostly what you do is you go to an RV park, you rent a space for a month, you take in that as your rent receipt. That's mostly what you do to register to get a driver's license and to become a resident. Was that your question? Registering it isn't a problem. It's getting your driver's license. You'll have to have a mail forwarder and a residence address. So in your state, get the mail forwarder and then get a rent receipt of some kind. And that's the way you usually do it. Is your insurance and your mailing address will go to the mail forwarder, and then your residence address will be at the rental place. If you rent space 287th Golden Nugget RV Park on 1234 Main Street, that's your resident address. Some states are now trying to make it so you can't use that. I don't know what we're going to do then. So that's how you do it. I have a video on, I have a playlist of how to get your driver's license, how to get mail, how to get your how to choose a state of residence. Go and watch all that. It's way too complicated for me to answer in 5 minutes. I am here now. Asks, where can I park beside the street in the city? People have tried parking in parking garages, and I think there are people who've had success. I'm not making any promises. You could try it. You could find out what the rules are and see how it would go. I'm not sure. I gave you a couple ideas earlier. Run an ad on Craigslist. Oh, so I just got a notification. Some state has made it legally required that college students can sleep in their vans while they're going to college. So find that state. You can probably sleep on their college campus. Things are changing, and sometimes for the better all the time. Sometimes for the worse, often for the worse. Where besides the street? Well, Walmart, Sam's Club, 24-hour grocery stores are my first choice. Planet Fitness, sometimes they'll let you sleep in the parking lot. Not always. Sometimes they won't. It's trial and error. One of the best places are industrial areas, although you're still on the street there. Run a Craigslist ad, offer somebody $100 just to let you park in their driveway overnight. That's all, just overnight. Give them references that showing you're not a bad guy, you're a good guy, you're working, you're whatever. Look for live in caring for people. In other words, someone's looking for someone to help them on their 10 acres, and they'll let you park on their 10 acres and you mow the lawn, or you help them whatever they need help with. They help them around the house, whatever. So you look for those kind of situations. Running an ad, looking for ads. Where can I get a list of items I need for a solar install? Actually, we'll do that with the minivan build. We have a list of what we bought, and that will be coming up whenever we get it finalized. We're going to put out a manual of how we did it, and that will have a list. We'll probably put it on our website on Howa and Cheap RV Living. Victoria, how do I stay cool? I wish I had knew. Shade, 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 fans, ventilation. I don't have an answer.
Videos.
How much?
Yeah, videos.
I have a playlist. I have a playlist of how to stay warm, how to stay cool. I have a lot of ideas. At best, all you can do is keep the inside temperature the same as the outside temperature. It's 90 degrees outside, it's going to be 90 degrees inside unless you're running air conditioning. That was your next question. How much solar for running AC, or should I get a generator? Solar, minimum of 750 watts. 750 watts will run the AC, but it will not run anything else. It will not recharge your battery from last night. So you really need 750 to run an AC, a very tiniest AC. I have a video that says you can run, yes, you can run an AC off solar. Watch that video. We found a 450 watt window unit that will run on 750 watts, and 1,000 watts then will run the AC and recharge everything at the same time, because you're still using other things while you're running solar. So you got to have more than enough to run the solar. 750 to 1,000 watts and more is even better. Huge battery bank if you want to run it well. The sun's not up. Victoria. Donna, what container is safest for gasoline while traveling? Oh, I got an easy answer. I actually have an answer for that. It's called a NATO gas can. NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization. In NATO countries, they use a certain type of gas station. It's called a NATO gas can. Best gas can you can buy. Do not overfill it. It will build pressure, and when you pop it off, it'll spray all over you. Do not overfill it, but if you do not overfill it, it will not leak. It will not off gas. Wonderful, wonderful tool. You can get them on Amazon. The good ones are like $70. They're expensive, but they're not cheap Chinese knockoffs. The cheap Chinese knockoffs will not work. Buy a $70 NATO, NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization gas can off of eBay. Or not off eBay, off Amazon. Probably eBay too. But on Amazon, I know you can spend that much and get a very good quality. I think they have to bring them in out of Canada. The United States is so crazy about this crap that I don't even think they can make them in the U.S. anymore. They have to come in out of Canada. That's what you use. Okay, and here's the schedule. Here's the schedule for the rest of every Wednesday's live feed. Lost my train of thought there. I do it really easily. Old brain. June 26th is solar. Every last Wednesday of the month will be solar. July 3rd is which van or RV to buy. We'll help you choose your choice of rigs. We'll look at details of your rigs, your deeds. July 10th, state of residence, how to get register your vehicle, how to get a driver's license, how to get cell phone, how to get mail. July 17th is camping and stealth parking. July 24th is camping, boondocking. And then July 31st is the last Wednesday of the month. It will be solar. August 7th, that's where there was the problem with camp. And I'll have to give you August 7th, August later. Okay, Eddie and also Nadine asked the same question. Can you run AC using batteries and solar? I just answered that. Can I run off AC off 200 watts of solar? Lots of questions about how much solar for AC. Okay, well, we'll do a solar, we'll do an AC off solar topic. Casey, schedule that.
1 minute.
No, you can't run it off 200 watts. You conceivably, with the tiniest window unit, which is 450 watts, it's a Westinghouse. Go find my video. I have 1 minute to explain all this. Go find my video on yes, it says yes, you can run solar off. You can run AC off solar. That's the name of the video. I answer the whole question. This tiny Westinghouse AC window unit draws 450 watts. You could possibly run it on 600 watts of solar. You really need 750 to run it and anything else. You need 1,000 to run it and to run everything else and rebuild the batteries. If you run your batteries down with AC overnight, you need a huge amount of solar to run solar the next day, a day, and recharge the batteries. Two things you got to do: run AC the next day and recharge the batteries from overnight. Huge amount of solar, 1,200 watts minimum, 800 amp hours AC minimum. I mean, of amp hours of battery minimum to run it overnight AC. Huge quantities.
There's still good questions on that card if you want to go over. There's still 1,200 people on.
There's still 1,200 people on. I'll keep going. I might readjust a bit because I'm getting in the shade in the sun. I don't mind. I'll talk. Wind me up and I talk. Try to shut me up. Okay. A couple times I've seen spit flying around. Sorry about that, folks. In fact, since the video is officially over, I'm gonna take a drink of Pepsi. That's the stuff. Yes, I know. Diet Pepsi will kill me. Aspartame, headaches, dizziness. When I start getting those things, I'll let you know. Sorry, I'm being kind of ornery today. Oh well, that's life. Brian, if I have not bought fridge, mattress, stove, etc., how do I plan my build appropriately? That's a really good question. My van build is up there. I did a long series on my van build, but I had my fridge because I was moving out of one van into another. So I measured my fridge and I built a place exactly for it. I had a microwave. I measured my microwave and built a place exactly for it. I even used specific plastic drawers, and that's what we did with the minivan we just did. We had bought everything in advance, and so we knew which plastic drawer totes we were going to use, and we built around the plastic totes, and we knew which we just gave people a ice chest. So we already bought the ice chest and we put it in there. We've already bought the battery. We put the battery here. We built around the battery. So you really do need. So I guess my best suggestion for your specific question is go to the store or find someone with the fridge you want to use. What I did was put mine on wheels so I could roll it out and roll it in, and then I could consider ventilation. Before you put your fridge anywhere, ventilation is number one. You don't ventilate enough, you'll kill that thing. ACs, those compressors are creating quite a bit of heat, and that's got to be ventilated out of there. So do not do anything to inhibit the ventilation. And decide on how much. Big thing is the width of the bed. So you have to know how much you can comfortably sleep in. Don't fool yourself. If you need 30 inches to sleep in, give yourself 30 inches. A bad night's sleep is going to ruin your whole nomadic life. Measure the distance from head to the bed. To sit in a chair and measure the distance. And sitting in it on a bed and banging your head all the time is no fun. So build the bed around your physical dimensions, and then get the dimensions of the things you need. You probably can. If you've narrowed it down to a couple of fridges you might want to buy, build for those two sizes. You can find the dimensions online and build around them. Figure out the specific totes you want to use, build around them, build nooks and crannies to hold them. Build around maybe you're going to use I use a Thermarest Mondo King inflatable, self-inflating. I built my bed around it. I found its dimensions and built the bed around it, and I love it. So get all the best dimensions you can, build around them. You're right. That's a good question. You do need to think ahead before you start building. You don't want to just build willy-nilly unless you do a no-build build first, and then you slowly accumulate things, and then you do the final build. This is actually my number one recommendation for you. A no-build build, live in it for a while, start building as you know exactly. I have to have 30 inches to sleep, or 24 inches is fine. I can just make this a 24-inch bed and give myself a lot more room other places. But you'll know, you won't be guessing wildly and making bad guesses. So a no-build build, minimum build, and then do your final build. That's my highest recommendation. and find out the dimensions and build around them if you can't do that. Julie, please tell people to test their gear out before starting. Yeah, if you can possibly do it, do it. One of the things I was going to go through was if you're still in an apartment, stop using your bathroom. Just close the door and say, I'm not going to use the bathroom again. How are you going to go to the bathroom? How are you going to get yourself clean? You'll force yourself to learn. Stop using your kitchen and go buy a gas one stove or go buy a Coleman stove and set it at the kitchen table, and don't use your kitchen. Don't use that fridge anymore. Don't use that stove anymore. And so start practicing right now before you ever leave. I've known people, and this is a really good idea. Get rid of your bed. Yeah, well, you're gonna move into a van. Buy your Mondo King. Buy a Thermarest or REI or Big Agnes inflatable pad. Buy a cot and put it in your bedroom and sleep on it. Can you sleep on that? Find out now before you moved into the van. So if you're still in your home, practice, practice, practice. Go camping. If you've never been camping before and you're going to become a nomad, go camping. Just buy a tent, an self-inflating pad. There's state parks and campgrounds all around you, national forests. Go camping. Spend 10, 20 bucks and go camping. See how it works. Go to the park. Wherever you live now, there's a park. Buy a Coleman one-burner stove. Buy a little butane stove. Go and start cooking on the park bench. What do you absolutely have to cook on the park bench? Stop pooping in your toilet. Start pooping in a bucket. You'll know how when the time comes. Start now with baby steps while it's easy. And when the huge transfer to this new life won't be so overwhelming and difficult. Start now. That's a really good question. Really good question, Julie. Please tell people to test their gear before out starting. Great idea, and that's a good way to do it. Practice. Can someone donate an old motorhome that needs a new engine? Probably not. We've given a lot of thought of that. Chances are it needs a whole lot more than a new engine. We had someone offer us an RV, and it turns out that it had been in her backyard for a long time, and squatters had moved in. And we just knew that, and she wanted to give it to us. Really, she wanted us to haul it off. And so, we'd have to do a lot of research before we were going to take anything, because we're getting a lot of offers of crap that would just cost us more than it will gain us. Wouldn't help anyone. So we'd have to know a lot more before we'd take an RV that needs a new engine. Yeah, we'd have to know all the details. What else is wrong? If the engine's shot, has the roof been leaking and going to have to rebuild all the walls? We really have to do a lot of research before we take anything. So the answer is unknown, but probably not. John, how do you keep ants from getting in your van and food supply? Oddly enough, I have never had an ant problem in any van I've ever lived in anywhere in 17 years now. And 6 of it I lived in Alaska, and I guess there just weren't many ants in Alaska because I never had any ants anywhere. I don't know. But for the last 11 years, I've been a boondocker, and I've never had an ant problem in my van. Mice, I've always had problems with mice. And you just put out traps and kill them. I'm sorry, you just put out traps and you kill them. You can't share your space with mice, believe me. I know. But ants, I've never had an ant problem. And if you have an ant problem, tell me how you solve it. Oh, I got that one. Oh, I got all these. I think I'm done.
What do you donate to Howell?
I think I answered that. When Imaginator asked, how do I donate? Oh, I guess I didn't. How did you know that? Imaginator asks, how do I donate a van or RV to Howa? Contact us at homesonwheelsalliance.org. And like I said, we've had things offered to us that were just not worth anything, and we turned them down. So we have to do a little research. We have to know that we're not just your and at the RTR every year we have the free pile. And every year people bring absolute garbage and put it on the free pile because it's going to magically stop being garbage when someone else takes it home. And at the end of the year, every year, we take truckloads of garbage to the dump because people think that's a way to get rid of their crap. It eases their conscience that they're not just throwing away crap. Throw away your crap. Don't give it to us. But assuming it's something good, then yeah, we are definitely interested. We have a problem in that we are on the West Coast and not even everywhere on the West Coast, and we haven't set up any kind of an infrastructure to. If you're in Florida and you want to give us a minivan, we're not exactly sure how to go about picking it up. One of the problems is if we send a friend to pick it up and he's driving home and wrecks it, who's liable for that? Liability is an issue we are aware of at all times, and it's just something you have to be aware of in this country. If there's an accident, or if there's a problem, or just an excuse, people look for the deep pockets, and the automatic assumption is a 501c3 is the deep pockets. Let's go after them. So we have to be very careful about liability in everything we do. So if you're in Florida, we can't just send a friend over to pick it up. He wrecks it on the way home. We're now liable. Or are we not? We don't know. What are the laws in Florida? Are the laws in Florida so stringent that yes, we are, but in Georgia, that wouldn't be any issue at all? We don't know. We'd have to hire a lawyer in Florida to find out. We can't hire a lawyer in all 50 states. So there are a lot of questions here that we don't have answers to yet, that we're still struggling with. So contact us, and that's about the best we can do. So if you want to donate a car, van, or RV, if you want to donate anything, if you don't any non-money thing, contact us at Homes on Wheels Alliance at gmail.com, and we'll work with you. We just had someone offer something, a minivan in that's in Phoenix. Well, that's fine. We happen to have a good friend who's a mechanic, and he's going to go look at that minivan and tell us if we should take it. We probably will, because it sounds like it's pretty good. But if it's just crap and we're just going to take it and we get $400 for scrap for it, but is it worth our time and effort? It isn't. I'd rather have our time and energy than $400 for the minivan. So a lot of questions there we don't have answers to. Let me go over the topics again. I'm going to list the topics so you can start writing them in. Well, if we don't have more questions, then I'm going to call it quits. The topics are June 26th, next Wednesday, are solar. The last Sunday of every month will be solar. And in fact, let's make, can we make next Wednesday solar off of AC?
Yeah.
Let's do that. A lot of questions about that, and I know that's one a lot of people have.
And go with Bubbles.
Oh, Bubbles. Here we go, Bubbles, folks. I gotta go dance, but I don't think
And
I can
you're
dance.
15 over right now.
Like I said, try and shut me up.
But you still have over 1,200 people on.
Well, if there are people there, where's it at? Bubbles. Bubbles. Well, I did this by accident once, folks, and people really liked Bubbles, and they wanted to see it every shit. So who am I to argue with democracy? Democracy says show Bubbles, so I will. Okay, so next week was next Wednesday. We're going to talk about solar, and specifically AC on solar. July 3rd is which van or RV to buy. July 10th is the state of residence, mail, driver's license, cell phone, all those kinds of things. July 17th, Wednesday, is camping stealth. July 24th is camping boondocking. July 31st is solar, the last Wednesday of the month. And then we'll give you August later. Okay, I think I'm done. We'll probably start. Well, we can end with Bubbles, can't we? So, I hope you got something out of this. If you did, like us on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. And this live feed is over, and we'll talk to you later.